Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you to the orientation session for the ACCA paper Financial Reporting FR. The agenda for today's session is to discuss about the paper format, the syllabus areas, the methodology for preparing for studying FR. All of these things we are going to discuss in this session. My name is Zya Rana and I'm ACCA member teaching taxation, advanced taxation and the financial reporting paper since last 10 years. And my working experience is at KPMG's taxation department. The basic question which comes to our mind that FR, is it linked with any paper which you have studied previously in ACCA journey? Yes. This FR paper is linked with a basic paper of financial accounting, FFA, or we can say it as F3 or FA, financial accounting. And the second question, the knowledge gained in FR, is it relevant for any other paper? To address these queries, let me show you the relational diagram which shows the relation of the financial reporting paper with other papers in ACCA. You can see the knowledge which you have gained in financial accounting paper is fully used for this financial reporting. And also, you have studied about corporates, business, companies, how a company is formed, what are the prerequisites for forming a company. All of these things you have studied at F4 or LW paper, law paper. This knowledge will also be used in your financial reporting paper. Furthermore, as we shall be learning about the preparation of the financial statements and the financial reports, then the same financial reports are audited. For auditing purposes, this knowledge, FR knowledge, is also relevant for the paper F8 or Advanced Audit and Assurance. But it has a direct relationship with the professional level paper, which is SBR, Strategic Business Reporting. All of the things, let's say any standards, any reporting standard, accounting standard, which you study at FR level are directly related to your SBR paper. So we can say that F3 is a basic paper, F7 is like at intermediate level, and at professional level, you would be having SBR paper. Means these three papers are linked with each other directly. Furthermore, the knowledge which you have gained at FR level is also relevant to another professional paper named as Strategic Business Leader. So the purpose for showing this relational diagram is that the things which are covered at FR level are not only to the extent of the FR, but also relevant for the future papers as well. In fact, after ACCA, if you also do study any other qualification, then all of the reporting standard, accounting standard, FR things are relevant to all of those accounting papers in your future studies. The basic question, what is financial reporting? Why it is necessary for a company to prepare financial reports? Let me guide you with the help of a basic example. Let's say there is a business, there is a company, and this company is mainly run by the directors. The decision makers are the directors. But in this company, funds are invested by shareholders. Shareholders are the actual owners, but they are not running the business. The persons who are running this business are the directors of the company. Plus, multiple stakeholders are also connected with the company's activities. What is the definition of a stakeholder? Any person, anyone who is directly or indirectly affected from the company's activities. So all of those persons are the stakeholders of the company. Let me write a few examples. First stakeholder is the shareholder, because they have invested funds in the business. Another stakeholder could be your customer. I would be explaining all of these one by one. Supplier, any financial institutions, and let's say government. So basically, these are the stakeholders which are directly or indirectly affected by the company's activities. So that is the reason they would be interested in knowing the performance, the financial performance of the company. So what exactly is FR? FR is the financial reporting, and this reporting is mainly to the stakeholders. The reporting purpose is to tell about the company performance, and this information is communicated to the stakeholders of the company. So that is the reason a company is required to prepare its financial reports at each reporting date. How these stakeholders are affected from company's activities? Because shareholders have invested funds in the companies, they want to know about the return what they would be getting from the company. Let's say what are the level of dividends they are getting from the company this year. Are the profits increasing or decreasing? Whether they would be getting a higher amount of dividend or a lower amount of dividend. So that is the reason shareholders, being a stakeholder, are interested in the company performance. Another stakeholder could be customer, could be your customer as well. Why? Because customer is, let's say you are a construction business and you are the customer of a cement factory, of a cement company. You are engaged in construction activities and you want materials from cement company. And let's say if that company, if your supplier is not in a good position and the company is about to cease, so you would also be having difficulties. Why? Because ultimately it is going to impact your working process, because you would not, as per the contracts, you would not be getting your materials, let's say. It means the customer is also a stakeholder which is affected from any business activities. Same goes for suppliers. Let's say you go to your supplier, you go to your vendor and ask for credit, because 99% of the business transactions are operated on credit. And let's say you want material from your supplier, but you are not in a good position. So your supplier may be reluctant to provide you the extra time. Let's say you are requiring to your supplier that I would be paying in 3 months the credit term, but your supplier is not interested in allowing you to 3 months credit time. And also another reason, let's say your supplier is asking that your financial performance is not good, so I'm not going to give you any materials on credit. So basically, supplier of a business are also affected by the company's activities, by the business activities. So ultimately, they are the stakeholder of the company. And let's say you want loans from any financial institution, from any bank. Once you go to a bank for acquiring loan, but they would be asking you to present your financial reports. They would be checking, are you in a good position? Would you be repaying the amount of loan or not? So these things, basically, every stakeholder has its own interest in business. And due to that specific interest, each stakeholder is interested in company's financial performance. And for assessing company's financial performance, financial reports are published by the company. So these stakeholders can follow the financial reports and they would be able to decide, and it helps in decision making. Why the government is a stakeholder for a business? Because government is simply interested in the taxation. If a company's profits are going up, it means government would be collecting more tax. Another reason why the government is a stakeholder, because at times government also provide companies, different businesses. Government provide to these businesses grants or subsidies. For granting these subsidies or financial grants, government is also interested to know about the financial performance. So these stakeholders have their own specific interest in the business, in the company's activities. To know about their interest, they would be following the company's financial reports So that is the reason a company by law is required to prepare its financial reports at each reporting date. In fact, after a complete 12 months time period, set of accounts are prepared. The question arises, is it mandatory for a company to prepare financial statements, financial reports, the set of accounts? Answer is yes, because at F4 level, you do study this thing. If there is a registered business, if there is a registered company, that company is compulsorily to prepare its financial reports at each reporting date. And these stakeholders would be following the financial reports for their own interest, and they would be knowing the company's performance, whether it's performing well or not. Set of accounts include 5 elements. Set of accounts includes 5 elements, and the 5 elements are, the actual terms are somehow different, but in this session, I'm not going to use the actual terms, that is statement of company profit and loss and other comprehensive income, or the statement of financial position. I'm not going to use these formal terms. It's a random discussion. It's a basic discussion we are doing here. So I'm just writing in this set of accounts, let's say an income statement, a balance sheet, statement of changes in equity, cash flow statement, and notes or the disclosures, notes to the accounts or the disclosures. So we have discussed till now what is financial reporting. A company is required to publish its financial reports. So that is the reason they would be preparing set of accounts. What is the reason for publishing these financial reports? Because there are different stakeholders who are interested in knowing the company's performance. So how they can know about the company performance? They would be following the financial reports. They would be looking at the set of accounts, and the set of accounts has 5 elements. The income statement, where you can see the profit and loss of the company. In the balance sheet, assets are equal to capital plus liabilities. Simply means what are the assets of the company, what is the equity of the company, how many are the liabilities for a company. So all of these things are the part and parcel of the balance sheet, also termed as statement of financial position. A statement of changes in equity tells about what are the number of shares issued at the start of the year. I'm just giving you an example. For example, what is the share capital at the start of the year, how many shares are issued during the time period, and what is the ending share capital. So all of these things are the part and parcel of the statement of changes in equity. There are also many other things covered in this point number 3, but mainly, for example, I told you about the share capital. A company is also required to present its cash flows, like what was the opening balance of cash, how this cash is utilized in different activities during a year, for example, operating, financing, and investing, and what is the ending cash balance. So to reconcile, to prepare, to show the cash movement during the year, a statement of cash flows is prepared. And few things are required to write, to annotate in a formal manner, in a paragraph manner. There are certain events which do not have any financial values, but still they are important for our business. So they are also required to present in the financial statements. So that is the reason notes to the accounts are also prepared, or sometimes it is termed as disclosures. So what we have learned on this slide, what are the financial statements? Is it compulsory for a company to prepare? Yes. A financial statement set of accounts have 5 elements. All of the companies would be preparing all these 5 elements. It's not like that a company would be preparing the 3 from these set of accounts, or the other company would be preparing the all 5 elements. No, it's not like that. Each and every business, each and every company is required to prepare these 5 elements for the set of accounts. And then these 5 elements are checked or followed by the stakeholders to know about the company's performances. Now let's talk about the paper format. FR paper has 3 sections. Section A, 15 objective test questions are there, 2 marks each, and total is for 30 marks. Section B include 3 scenarios, and each scenario have 5 questions. Into 2 marks each. It means each scenario is of worth 10 marks. And as I told you, there are 3 scenarios. So 10 marks into 3 is equal to 30 marks. 30 marks are for section B. And section C includes 2 constructive response questions of 20 marks each. So section C is tested for 40 marks. And obviously, 50% are the passing marks. Now, you would be thinking about what are these objective test questions. I have not written MCQs. I have written OTQs, objective test questions. What exactly is the meaning of objective test questions? Because different type of questions are tested here in section A as well as in section B. In section B, there are also objective test questions are there. Normally in MCQs, there is a question and thereafter 4 options or 2 options are given. But in objective test questions, there could be a blank, there could be a box, there could be multiple choice question answers. There is a question, maybe have 1 option, drop down menu, drop and drag, multiple type of questions when are tested. These are termed as objective test questions. So be aware of these things. We shall not be doing MCQs for section A and B. We shall be doing objective test questions. And in section A, what are the areas which are tested in section A? I cannot tell any area because any area of this syllabus is relevant and can be asked in section A. And same thing for section B. There are no defined areas which for section B as well. Any area of this syllabus can be tested in section B. But each scenario would be having its own 5 questions. There are 3 scenarios. Each scenario have own 5 questions of 2 marks each, 10 marks for each scenario. And if there are 3 scenarios, effectively 30 marks for section B are there. What exactly is constructive response question? CRQ means constructive response questions. That means you need to present your answer in a formal way, in a constructed manner, using techniques which are spreadsheet and word process. As you do solve any question in your copy or register, in the same manner, you need to present your answer in a formal manner using a spreadsheet. It's like MS Excel. Please keep thing in mind. Microsoft Excel would not be available during your exam. Yes, there would be columns and rows, looks like MS Excel, but basically all of the functions, formulas, options are not there while using the spreadsheets. So that is the reason we are not saying it as MS Excel. I'm using the word spreadsheet. Word process is same like Microsoft Word, but obviously with the limited options, it means when to type anything. When there is a theoretical answer of any question, you need to type the answer. For typing purposes, you would be using the word process area, which is available during your exam with the question in section C. For these 2 questions, I can tell you the relevant areas. Let's say this question may be from final account. Final account means a single company accounts. Or this question can be asked from group accounts. Group accounts means when the accounts of a parent and its subsidiaries are prepared together. So that is termed as consolidation or the group accounts. So I can tell you the areas which are tested for section C. That could be a final account question or a group account question. But these two are now linked with ratios analysis. Ratio analysis means interpretation of financial statements. Means you need to assess the performance of the company. It's not about numbers. You need to assess that looking at trends, what was the performance in previous year, what is the performance in current year, whether the company is performing good or bad, what is the return on capital employed, what is the net profit margin. So whenever there is a question for section B, for both the questions, whether it's from final account or from group accounts, these areas are now linked with the analysis, the performance assessment of the company's performances, right? So that's very technical thing to understand, to learn, that you need to write your comments, you need to assess the performance of the company. And this thing is also helpful for your professional studies, because at professional level papers, all of the papers are mainly based on the commenting, not on the numbers, not on the much on numbers, but on the writing thing, means explaining the scenarios, explaining the performance, all of these things. When we do the analysis of the financial reporting, that is termed as interpretation of financial statements or the ratio analysis. So section C questions are also linked with the ratios analysis as well. Thereafter, here we have the syllabus areas. The FR syllabus is mainly divided into 5 areas. After a few minutes, I would be opening a file in which all of these areas are well explained, are further categorized into subcategories. So there are 5 major areas of the financial reporting. You can also find this file. On the ACCA Global website, official website. Here we have the syllabus and study guide for the FR students who would be taking this paper from September 23 to June 24. In fact, there is no as such change there at FR level, because mainly the change applies to taxation or the advanced taxation paper, because the taxation paper is based on a finance act. So normally the major changes are happen for taxation papers, but not for other papers. Yes, at times there are minor changes which are covered in this file, but there is no major change in FR since last 3 to 4 years. Being a student, you are requested, I'm not only talking for FR, whatsoever paper you are taking, you are going to attempt, you are requested to please follow the syllabus and study guide. This file for each paper is available on the ACCA website. Being a student, it's your responsibility to have a look at this syllabus and study guide. I'm not going to discuss anything from here, but let me show you few important things. As I showed you a relational diagram at the start of the session, so I have extracted that relational diagram from the syllabus and study guide. Furthermore, as we just discussed about the paper format, section A, B, and C, all of these things are further explained. And as I told you about the ratio analysis, you can see it is also mentioned in the syllabus and the study guide, 20-mark questions. It's not only talking about one question, it's talking about any question which is there. At section C, we'll examine the interpretation and preparation of financial statement for either a single entity, for final account question, or a group account question. And section A questions and the other questions in section B can cover any area of the syllabus. I have guided you about all of these things. Furthermore, as I showed you the syllabus areas, there are 5 major syllabus areas. These syllabus areas are further explained, like it's about A, B, C, D, and E. And on the next slide, you can see a detailed syllabus guide from this file. So being a student, you are required to follow the syllabus and study guide for each paper, including FR, which you are going to attempt now. The thing which I'm going to discuss now is directly related to our paper, and that's the main agenda of today's session. Here we have a file, examinable documents, and these examinable documents for FR from September 23 to June 24. Here we have two, by the way, I have also downloaded this file from the ACCA Global website. And in this file, you can see there are two columns, one for FR and other for SBR. We shall not be looking at this column because that's only pertaining to SBR, the students who are taking SBR paper. Our relevant column is the first one, and here we have a detailed information that what are the main syllabus areas, what are the examinable documents, means what are the things which you are going to study at FR. FR is purely based on ISs and IFRSs. IS is International Accounting Standard and IFRS is International Financial Reporting Standard. Yes, at F3 level, we do study about the bank reconciliations, about the control account reconciliation, the cash books, the petty cash book. All of these petty areas are there at F3 level, but not at FR level. But yes, the knowledge which we have gained is directly relevant to our FR, right? It's not like that you would be thinking that we should not know about bank reconciliation while studying FR, because the basic things are covered in F3 level, but all of these things are also relevant to your FR paper or your SBR paper as well. But at FR level, we are going to cover the ISs and IFRSs only. There is no topic like bank reconciliation. There is no topic like, let's say, control account reconciliation or the day books. These things, yes, are the part of financial accounting, but here we are talking about the reporting thing, the reporting standards. So at FR level, we only would be discussing what is IS, what are the IFRSs. And by the way, now any accounting standard which is now introduced, the term is used for is International Financial Reporting Standard. In past, these standards are issued by the name International Accounting Standard, but now the term has changed, International Financial Reporting Standard. But both of these are part of the syllabus, and here we have a list of all of the ISs and IFRSs which we are going to cover at FR level. Just guide me about each standard quickly. All of the companies are preparing financial statement in a similar format, in a similar way. How they are preparing, all of the company are preparing financial statement in a similar manner, because all of the companies are following IS1, which tells about the presentation of financial statements. So that's a part of FR. Anything which is held for sale in ordinary course of business is termed as inventory, and for dealing with inventories, IS2 is there. Normally, we do study at you have studied at F3 level that inventory should be recorded at lower of cost or NRV. But here at FR level, we shall be discussing more about the inventories under IS2. Company needs to present its cash movements, and to show all of the cash movements, IS7 is used, statement of cash flows. There are certain policies or the estimations or the errors of a company. All of these things we shall be covering under IS8. There are certain events which occur after the reporting date. Let's say a company is preparing accounts from Jan till December, and after December, there is a time gap for auditing, for preparing the financial statements. In that time period, after the end of the reporting date, if any event occurs, we need to check whether that event is linked with the previous year or it has no link with the previous year. If it has a link with the recent year end, so we need to adjust that event. We have a different treatment. But if the event is not relevant, it has no evidence that it's pertaining to previous year, then it is simply has a different accounting treatment. All of these things we shall be covering, we shall be studying in IS10, events after the reporting period. IS 12 is there to deal with the taxes, because a business objective is to earn profits and to maximize profits. And obviously, whenever there are profits, taxation is also there. So deal with the taxation thing, IS 12 guides that how the income taxes are calculated. IS 16 tells about the property, plant, and equipment, in fact, the tangible non-current assets. There are certain ISs are also there at F3 level, but at that time, we do not follow the name. We do not study the standard by its name, but at FR, it is necessary for us to know about the accounting standards and the names and the treatment and all of the things which are pertaining to the accounting standards or the reporting standards. How the asset is initially recorded, what is the subsequent treatment, what is the revaluation, what is the impairment. All of these things are relevant for non-current assets. So there are multiple standards are there for dealing with the non-current assets. So if an asset is used for business activities, if a tangible non-current asset is used for business activities, the treatment is according to IS 16. I'm not going to discuss about IS 19 because it's not there at FR level. As I told you, government also provide grants to companies or the benefits to companies. So what is the accounting for government grants? What is the accounting for the amount received from the government? So the accounting for government grants is dealt according to IS 20. Furthermore, if you are selling your goods outside your country, or if you are purchasing goods from any other country, obviously the exchange rates are there for these sales or purchases. To deal with the exchange rates and all things, IS 20 is there, termed as the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. When you acquire a loan specifically for the asset construction, then the loan, obviously there is a cost of loan, interest expense of the loan. In that case, where you have obtained a loan for the acquisition or the construction of an asset, in that case, loan interest is not expensed out. It is simply added to the cost of asset. It is capitalized. All of these things are covered under IS 23, which tells about the accounting of the borrowing costs. Borrowing means loan, cost means interest expense. IS 24 is not there at FR. I'm skipping this one. IS 27 tells about the separate financial statement. Each company is required to prepare its separate financial statement. Even if it is a part of any group, still that company would be preparing its financial statement separately as well. When there is investment like from 20% to 50%, let's say you are a company and your company has acquired the share capital of other company, let's say 40%, 45%, more than 20 but less than 50, such investments are termed as associates or the joint ventures, and the accounting for investment in associates and joint ventures is according to IS 28. What is the earning? Oh, okay, by the way, IS 22 financial instruments. Let me highlight few things. Financial instrument. Thereafter, IFRS 7 tells about financial instruments, and IFRS 9 is also for financial instruments. I'm skipping this one for the time being, but for surely we'll be discussing. IS 33 tells about what is the earning level per share. There are number of shares in a company, and what are the profits level and what is the earning per share. All of these things are calculated and accounted for under IS 33, that is the earning per share. IS 34 is not part of FR. Then IS 36. Normally, we decrease the value of an asset by depreciating it. But there are also other factors. Due to those factors, asset value may get decreased. So such factors are indicating the impairment of asset. Other than depreciation, if the asset value is decreasing, so that's the impairment of the asset. Impairment of non-current asset is according to IS 36. Obviously, for running a business, multiple provisions are involved. like contingent liabilities or the contingent assets. So what is the accounting? How to account for these provisions, contingent assets? What is contingent liability? To know about the details, we have IS 37 to study. IS 38 is the accounting of the intangible assets. Let's say a company have any license, any goodwill. So all of these are the intangibles of the business. And what is the accounting and how to account for these intangibles? That's according to IS 38, intangible assets. If you are engaged in agricultural business, let's say a farmhouse or the dairy products, in that case, you would be having veggies farm, animal farms. Then the treatment of these agricultural assets is according to IS 41, which tells about that how to account for the agricultural assets. That's a part of the FR syllabus as well. FRS 1 is not there, FRS 2 is not there, FRS 3, yes. Very interesting. When a business makes more than 50% shareholding or acquire more than 50% shareholding of any other business, in that case, this time when this investment is made to any other company and the investment value is more than 50%, so this time is termed as business combinations, and the accounting for business combination should be dealt according to IFRS 3, which tells about how the goodwill is calculated, how it is reported, what is the treatment of the goodwill in the balance sheet. We have a detailed guidance about the business combination according to IFRS 3. IFRS 5. IFRS 5 tells about, let's say you were using a non-current asset in your business activities. Now you have decided not to use that asset in your business and you have intended to sell that asset now. It means till the time you were using that asset in your business activities, that asset was dealt according to IS 16. Now the intention has changed. When the intention is to sell the asset, then it will be reported, it will be accounted for according to the FRS 5, named as non-current asset held for sale and discontinued operations. Operating segment is not part of the FR syllabus, so I'm not going to discuss this one. Yes, we have skipped financial instruments. What are these financial instruments? There are multiple standards who tells about the financial instruments. In fact, any receivable, any payable is also a financial instrument. Till now, we only know that receivable is a current asset, payable is a current liability, but I'm telling you, any receivable, any payable, any cash, any bank overdraft could also be a financial instrument. IS 32 tells about how to present these financial instruments in the financial statements. IFRS 7 tells about how to disclose these financial instruments in the financial statements. And IFRS 9 tells about the accounting for financial instruments. By the way, before this IFRS 9, there was an standard, but now have skipped. IS 39, before the introduction of IFRS 9, the accounting of financial instrument was there according to IS 39, but not now. The actual accounting treatment of the financial instrument, in today's world, the financial instruments are dealt or accounted for according to the guidance of IFRS 9. IFRS 3 and IFRS 10 are linked with each other. How? Once the investment is made, when the investment is made to any other company in buying the other company shares, that time is business combination. But now the parent and subsidiary relation has created. At year-end date, both the companies, let's say if there is only parent, if there is a parent and the only company is a subsidiary company, is a single company, there could be more than one subsidiaries as well. When these group companies are preparing set of accounts, these set of accounts are termed as consolidated financial statements. Although each company would also be preparing its separate financial statement, but at the same time, group accounts are also prepared. How to prepare group accounts? We have IFRS 10 for this guidance. IFRS 11 and 12 are not the part and parcel of the FR syllabus. IFRS 13 tells about the fair value measurement. At times, we need to check the fair values, the market values of the things. there are certain levels, in fact, 3 levels for checking the fair values. Let's say if you have an asset, what is the value of the asset at year-end date? We have different inputs, level 1 input, level 2 input, level 3 input, to just find the value, the fair value of any asset or liability. So these things we do study according to the guidance of the IFRS 13. Before the introduction of IFRS 15, there were 2 standards, IS 11 and 18. IS 11 and 18 were used, but now the IS 18 and 11 are replaced by IFRS 15, wherein we shall be talking about how to record the revenue from the contracts, whether these are short-term contracts or the long-term contracts, any revenue from the customer, how we should record the revenue in the financial statements. The guidance is given by IFRS 15, and this IFRS 15 replaced 2 previous ISs, IS 11, the construction contract, and IS 18, the revenue recognition. Now, both of these are replaced by IFRS 15. Before the introduction of IFRS 16, leases, or there was a standard for leases named as IS 17 leases, but somehow the treatment has now changed. And the new treatment of the leases is according to IFRS 16. And this IFRS for SMEs, small, medium-sized entities, it's not there at FR level. And the next thing, other statements include like conceptual framework for financial reporting, and that's a part of the FR syllabus, and we shall be covering this conceptual framework as well. The objective is to show you that at FR level, you are going to study about the ISs and IFRSs only. There is nothing else. And for preparing the set of accounts, the income statement, balance sheet, changes in equity, cash flow statement, disclosures, only these ISs and IFRSs are used, and all of the financial reports are prepared according to the guidance of these standards, these accounting standards. Hopefully, now you have this thing in mind, what to study at FR. Obviously, the accounting standard, the reporting standards. What is the paper format? We have 100 marks paper for 3 sections, section A and B for 30 marks each, and section C for 40 marks. And there are 2 constructive response questions are tested in section C, along with the interpretations of the financial statement, whether the question is asked up for a single company accounts or for the group accounts. For both the questions, ratio analysis are very much important. And the last thing for today's session is how we are going to cover these lectures, how we are going to cover the syllabus areas. All of these standards or the topics are there available on portal, and you need to study all of these standards in a sequential manner as available on the portal. Then you can follow the practice questions from your kit, from your ACCA study help. Let me guide you the study pattern. First thing, follow lectures from portal in a sequential manner. Then after covering each topic, go to the kit questions, cover the questions from ACCA Study Hub. And in case of any query question, you may ask in the WhatsApp group, and also you can interact with me. Let me write my number, +923 2237 87312. So that's my number. I repeat, +923 2237 87312. In case of any question or query, you may communicate in the WhatsApp group, or you can ask questions directly from me. And I'm very much hopeful that FR is one of the papers at skills level which is easy to pass as compared to other papers. If anyone asks that, is FR difficult as compared to others at skills? No, FR is much simpler and an easy paper to pass at a skills level as compared to other ones. All right, I'm keeping good till here. In case if you have any discussion, if you have any unclarity, you may please get in touch with me, and I would be explaining. I would be I would be answering to your queries as well. And inshallah, see you in the next topic. Take care and Allah Hafiz.